What I really want to discuss today, right, is the demons that most of us don't realize that we have, don't admit that we have, but it complicates our life in many ways. Okay, I remember when when I came to this church. Actually, the spark started with me chasing after my wife. I wanted a girlfriend. I thought I was ready to deal with a girlfriend. I have had ex-girlfriends. I never got married, but I have had a lot of ex-girlfriends. I had so many demons in me that chasing her, which I thought it was, I'm gonna nail this one, but little did I know that God has, and his name is Jesus, something else in store for me. When I came here, I realized that this is not an easy place. But people are very, very nice and wonderful, and everything looks so good, and everybody looks so nice. And I said to myself, wow, but again, everybody Hamite. I actually the only Spanish person in here. I say, how am I going to deal with this? When I saw Elder Ramos, I thought he was Indian. I didn't even think he was Spanish. There was a few Trinidadian. There was an elder man that was a Trinidadian, so I figured this guy's probably Indian. Indians are a lot closer to black folks than Hispanics are. So I was like, okay, I'm the only Hispanic here, and at that, I had long hair. No one here has long hair. So then my life became more complicated to think that I'm gonna make it through this, But as pastor preached, I heard something that I never heard before. I heard the word righteousness. And I asked myself, what is that? Because, hey, let me tell you something, I don't even know how to spell it. So actually knowing it was out of my way. But I listened and I observed what he was doing, and I'm good at that. I'm good at watching, and actually, let me tell you something. One of my characteristics that is best in me is that I watch, and if I like it, I'm going to absorb it. So I watched him, and then he yelled out. He yelled out so many things that I was like, wow, nobody speaks like that. Like, whoa, okay, this is rebuking some demons. And let me tell you something, I'm no shy to those demons, okay? Don't get your head out the gutter. But I am not shy to those demons. So I said, wow, this is a nice place. And I explained to my wife, I'm gonna go back. I was very excited that day. When I went home, I ended up doing the same thing I always do, which is dirt, but I kept coming, and I kept coming. And then one day he said something about baptism. I think he was having a baptism coming in, that he was going to baptize some folks. And I admit, I was the worst. I look at you guys, and you don't have the slightest idea what you have in front of you. Well, the person that was when he came here, I am no longer that person, thank God. But I was the worst of the worst. When I watch you guys, I say, man, how am I going to do this? I have some things that are good, which is the elder, he caught up. I was doing Taekwondo, so he thought that I had some discipline. But let me tell you, I had no discipline at all. I was the worst of the worst. But I kept coming, and then I told my wife, I said, you know what? I'm gonna baptize me. I'm gonna baptize in this church. And let me tell you, that is the most wonderful experience I've ever had. Not only that, I believe that that's one of my clenching moment of my life, when I actually baptized. When Pastor baptized me, I let go. He had made, in the service, he had preached about really, really cleaning yourself. And that's when I believe, when I baptized downstairs, I believe that that's when my cleaning began, because this is the most wonderful place. This is actually the way I believe in my heart is the place where God still exists. Pastor says the churches, the time of churches is gone. This is the only church in the world where God is still in, And I believe that with all my heart. When I left that day, let me tell you, like I said, when I come here, and I didn't leave, I didn't stop right away. When I kept going home, I will go and smoke. I will go and drink, And that day that I got baptized downstairs, that day I felt so uncomfortable to actually smoke. It was like, no, that's it. I can no longer do this, That hypocrite in me left, banished out of my life, out of my head, That's it, no more. This is the process, Well, don't get me wrong. The devil knows how to attack. The devil knows how to come back, And you have to make sure that you stay strong, And then the process of us, trying to have a child. I rebuked a lot of demons when I got baptized. I tell you, I rebuked a lot of demons. And one of my worst demons, it was sexual. I had done so many bad things through that stick that I keep swinging it around, and whether it goes here, it goes there. Any woman even glitched at me, I'm there, I won't even think twice, And this is the spirit that controls most of our life, That sexual spirit, that demon that if you don't control it, it will destroy you. It will destroy you, because you look at it this way: it is a normal thing. But the things that you do with it is not normal. It is not normal. And most of the failures that we have in our life with women is that we do things that we are not supposed to do, because we're not supposed to disrespect women that way. You might think that, oh, this is where I'm going to pleasure her, this is how I'm going, and really, what you're doing is disrespecting her, because there are certain things that men shouldn't do, make women do, And then you leave that woman. And then you go travel to another woman, and then you try to do the same thing you did to that woman, you do it with the other woman. But what you don't realize, that demon is just attacking. It's just still there. Two women are not the same. Don't treat that woman the way you treat this other woman. And then eventually you leave that woman, and then you go to the other woman, and you do it, and then the demon now gets stronger, it gets worse, and you begin to do these things that are unimaginable. Okay? Let me tell you something. God created Adam and Eve. He created a lot of animals around him, He didn't want you. What you do with a woman, he created one woman. He didn't create two. He didn't create three. He created one. I believe most of my sins came because I didn't meet the right one right away. I met so many and did so many things that no matter how much a woman loves you, if you continue doing the things that you did with the other women, you're never gonna get it right. That's one thing. But one situation that occurred in my life was that when I met my wife, she was like, nope, 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 we ain't going in that direction, And Pastor made it very difficult for me, And she understood the obedience, the guidance that he was giving her. She understood very well. I didn't. I was like, I'm here 6 months, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Let's go. Let's do this. I broke cell phones. I destroyed like 2 or 3 cell phones because there was moments that demon is hungry. That demon is like, no, what are you talking about? We already grown-ups, You're not a grown-up if you don't know how to control yourself. You're not a grown-up if you don't know your own brain, But she was so into, no, it's not going to happen. But like the way it happens with these other women, it's not going to happen to me, And that right there put an impact in me that I said to myself, whoa, okay, this is different. This is good, And even though I was not happy with it, I said, this is good. This is good. Because you know what? That demon in me began to understand that it's no longer about this. It's about this. It's what's in your heart. And when it's in your heart, if it's clean, eventually you're not going to let the dirt come in, you know. So my wife did the right thing, you know. I began to be very patient, you know, until the pastor says, you guys could get married, or you have the ring. I said, I've been having the ring, you know. When, you know. And eventually, our lovely story began. But one thing that I say is, I don't want to make the same mistake that I have done in the past. So me and my wife, we sat down, and we spoke about the things that we will not do. And you might think that nobody gets into these conversations, you know, but it is the right conversation to get in with a man who has experience to a woman that may have none. I believe I have way more experience than my wife, you know, but I know my failures. I knew that demon, you know. And my wife started saying things that I was like, what? Okay, no, you know, nah, no, that's natural. Come on, are you crazy? She's like, nope, you're not doing that. And she actually started telling me the things that she will not do. And I started understanding the things that I'm not gonna do to actually respect my wife, to not disrespect her, is to do the things that are actually clean when you were a woman. You know, if you love your wife, you will be satisfied with what naturally is right. You know, don't try to have your mind go flying wild, because you're gonna reach a point where you cannot control that demon. I could promise you that. I've been there. You're not gonna be able to control that demon, okay? You're not gonna control those moments. Those moments are gonna control you. The moment are going to give you up to where anything that you see out there, eventually, you're going to go and chase it again. Then you start missing what you already have. The woman that's with you is willing to do the right thing with you and for you. So there's no reason to go flying around. But if you don't control those demons, yes, you will. Yes, you will. You know, there is people here that don't have no need to be by themselves, because there is men here that are by themselves. If pastor, which is the greatest pastor in the whole, I consider the whole world, but let's say, for example, in Harlem, that is always telling the truth, that is guiding you to be who you are, okay? He is guiding you, he is guiding that woman. So why is it so hard for you guys to connect? I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a blessing to me that my wife found me. I was a lost case, you know, and I came to this church, and everything is going great. But there is opportunity here with us. It's in the Bible where the Jews actually marry Jewish. They didn't go out of their circle. You know, and whoever went out of their circle had to kind of like be abandoned. You know, it's in the Bible. And there's a lot of good women in here. A lot of good women in here. And there are some good men in here. And if you are guided the right way, like Pastor is guiding me, then you know, you could control those demons. You could be good to that woman. You could be the right person to this woman. You don't need someone from outside to come in here and take that woman. You know, I have heard twice, I'm going to step out of the subject for a minute, I'm going to come back to this subject. I have heard twice somebody said, submit. I'm not going to submit to a man. I've heard it twice from two different individuals that come through these doors. And I said to myself, wow, you know what? When Pastor said you have to submit to me, you know, let me tell you, I am a little ignorant on some things sometimes. But when Pastor said, you have to submit to me, and when he explained that it is to live a better life, a better way, to better yourself, to actually be who you really meant to be. That's all I understand. You know, I submit to you, I live the right way, I do the right things, and eventually I become successful. And I am a very successful person. These guys could tell you, I'm making them successful. I'm teaching them every day how to be a better people, better students, better kids to their parents. You know, that gives me success. Not only that, I'm about to buy a house. That's right. You know, I consider myself a great husband, even though things are very limited. But I'm a great husband, you know. But submit to the word of God, not to men, not the flesh. I submitted to the word of God. And who has the word of God in his mouth? He, the Lord's servant. So I'm submitting to him, to his word, to his teaching. I'm not submitting to the flesh. So when I couldn't explain, it is maybe not in my place to explain to someone when you submit to pastor, you're not submitting to pastor. No, I'm not going to explain. What I want you to do is keep coming here. Keep learning. Keep hearing it, not to your own understanding, but to his understanding, his word. He's going to give it to you. He gave it to me. He gave it to my wife. And I believe he gave it to most of all you guys. The majority of you guys really have it together. You know? But ignorance is almost like being a hypocrite. You know? And sometimes we don't realize how much of hypocrites we are. That's the truth. We don't. We don't, because we don't want to believe that we are hypocrites. You know? You want to believe that you're doing the right thing and that you are right no matter what. You know? And you're going to keep coming here and you're going to keep hearing it, but it's never going to connect. Because first you have to let that hypocrite spirit leave your body. Because those are demons that are in control. Because maybe you learned it at a very young age. I tell my students all the time, don't lie. Because if you lie now, you're going to be lying for the rest of your life. Don't do it. Tell the truth. No matter what, no matter the consequences, tell the truth. You know? I tell the truth even in my job when it's even going to hurt me. I tell the truth because I'm going to deal with the consequences. But a lot of people don't. You know? A lot of people are here for their own inconvenience, for their own understanding. And they're going to continue to come because pastor actually has a lot of patience. He has a lot of patience. He's hoping that someday you will get it and eventually submit to how you're supposed to submit. And another thing is that you really have to go back and baptize. Even if you did it the first time, but you went back and committed those sins, okay, you received those demons all over again, you know what? You need to readjust yourself in baptism. You know, I thought about it, you know. My wife didn't tell you. When we were trying to have kids, right, you had to go to a room and then you had to do certain things to, you know, put in a cup. And I said to myself, man, there you go again. Really? Okay, when you go into this room, they got stuff that you rebuked already. Like, you don't really want to deal with these things, you know? And I'm like, I don't want to do that because that's welcoming that demon all over again. That's one of my worst demons, you know? But, hey, Jose, this is what we got to do. I tell my wife a few times, I'm not doing that. You're going to have to come in the room with me. No, we can't do that. I said, well, you know what? Well, we don't have to do anything, but you stand there then. But I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna watch that magazine. I'm not gonna watch that film because that is part of the homosexuality that we live. That we live. When you watch that movie, you're not watching the girl, you're watching the guy as well. When you watch that magazine, you're not watching the magazine, you're watching those two people that are in the magazine. You know? And then your mind, it starts going back to what? To that demon that you already rebuked, the demon that you don't want to live with, the demon that you don't want it no more, you know? And that demon is easy to come back because it's a natural thing, you figure. It's already in you. It's something that you learn at a very young age, you know? And you're not going to understand all these women that you're hurt because of that demon, you know? I understand, listen, I understand God blesses you in the bedroom, but you could curse yourself in the bedroom. You could. When you act indecent, when you put your woman through something that you don't need to put her through, that demon is in control of you. And that's how you hurt a woman. And eventually you begin to disrespect her, verbally, physically, because the things that you did in your bedroom, things that are unnatural. So when me and my wife decided to have that baby, I went through, Listen, one day, she calls me up and she found a clinic somewhere uptown Manhattan. I was running all over town to find this place to put something in a cup. And then it started raining. I said, now I'm in the rain looking for a place to go put something in a cup. It was very difficult. At some point, I even said, man, I don't want to deal with child like that no more. I don't want to deal with this. Why am I going through this, God? But what I didn't know was that the blessing is very near. And then God has his ways. Because you know what? I rebuked that demon, you know, and God understood. Then God began to forgive me and say, you know what? Okay, it's not going to happen that way. Because at some point I realized, I told my wife, you know what? We don't need to do this. We could just go and be called foster parents. I told her, let's be foster parents. Because like she said, it is very expensive, you know. We already have spent a fortune on trying to have a baby, you know, through taking eggs and taking them to test, me in the cup, and all of these clinics things. We wasted a fortune. I said, you know what? Let's go become foster parents. You know, I said to her, and see, I come back to the demon that already had me. I told my wife, oh, listen, by the way, I got to tell you, I had an ACS case. You know, my kids were removed from my home for a period of 3 years. So I don't know if they're going to allow us because of me. But God is wonderful. His name is Jesus. And pastor is like too much. Because pastor came out and I explained to him and he prayed for me. And he prayed for both of us, you know. And I said, let's go. I'm going to go. She said, well, go and find out. I went. And then I went over there and told them the truth. I said, listen, I had a case about good 15 years ago where my kids were removed. Actually, the same agency, you know, were in charge of my kids. And the lady said, don't worry about it. Just fill up the application and we'll investigate. And she did. And then she called us back for an interview, right? And in the interview, that day, she had spoken to me about what the ACS is and stuff like that. Give me a review of the way they do things and the way they want you to be and stuff like that. And one of the questions that she asked me, she said, what do you all believe on homosexuality? I said, well, none. No, not right now. If you would have told me that when I was a little younger, I would just say, it's okay. It's okay, because I was living that as well. You know, I was living that okay life, you know. And then she expressed that a 5-year-old that tells you that he wants to wear a dress, how do you feel about that? I said, wow, 5 years old? How does a 5-year-old knows what he wants to put on? My understanding is that the parents will tell you what you're going to put on. But I said, you know what? I was honest. I said, listen, I don't think no kid in my house is going to tell me at 5 years old what to do. I don't think so. But when I came home and I told my wife, I said, listen, my wife said, what? I said, yeah. So I gave her the application, and she, you know, the part where the homosexuality with the child and stuff like that, I told her, I said, listen, don't put the truth. Don't put the truth, because if you put the truth, they're not going to take us. But my wife, sometimes she said, you know what? I got to put the truth because my wife doesn't like to lie. So I said, all right, I told you. Okay, I did my job. She put the application in, they didn't take us. They actually had us come back for an interview, to tell us that they denied us, but they had a gay guy there. It's a gay guy who's telling us that they're not going to take us. And pretty much I told my wife, you know why, right? You know, and he wanted to say it so bad, but he couldn't because he wanted to be professional. But I understood the whole process, you know. And I said, well, fine. Next thing you know, like God has his ways, right? They gave us the application right back. They told us, oh, guys, we have your application. We need to come by for an interview. And that's the second interview that we came. So I told my wife, okay, you know, you don't have to lie, but you don't have to, you don't have to lie, but just don't say nothing. Let me do the talking. You know, let me do the talking because I'm going to ignore every question that has to do with that subject. And eventually it went very well because, you know, that's one thing about me. I could actually talk you out of your own things, you know. You're not going to tell me. I'm going to tell you, you know. And it went very well, you know. Me and my wife received that child. We take care of that child, you know, and we becoming wonderful parents, you know. And that's one of the blessings that comes from this house, you know, the success that comes from this house. That's when I said, right now, we all blessed people, you know. We going into a generation that it is lost out there, you know. What people out there don't realize is that you need someone like Pastor James David Manning. You need his mouth to rebuke those spirits, to rebuke and tell you what you don't want, you know, what you don't like. You don't want to hear it, but you know what? That is what's good for you. You know, I'm going to beat it over and over and over again. Most of the time, most of your failure comes from your bedroom, from you believing that certain things are natural when they ain't. We don't need children only being with single women. They need their father and they need their mother. You know, there's a lot of single parents out there. You know, it's funny because I met one. That goes to show you the demonic spirit that some people have and don't want to let go. I met a young woman that has a child. The husband lives in an island somewhere, and he has a wife and kids. And she actually wanted to go over there to get pregnant by the guy, so the son could have a little brother of the same father. Look. That might sound okay to some people, but that is very demonic. That man has a wife already, has his family already. And what's more demonic to men, because this is it, as long as we could swing that thing around, we don't care, that is more demonic to the men who actually is saying yes. What kind of belief do they have that they think that this is okay? Okay, now she's gonna get pregnant. She's gonna come back, give birth. The little boy has a brother, but that kid is the second one that doesn't have a father, because he's not willing to come and live here. He's not willing to come and take care of him here. You know who's gonna take care of him? We are, when we pay our taxes. Is that fair? No. That is nowhere near being right, being righteous, or being a Christian. No. And the person is very smart. This woman is very smart. But you see, spirits, demonic spirits, don't care how smart you are. When that spirit enters and it dominates, it's going to make you do things that you cannot imagine yourself. Maybe when you were a little girl that you wish to get married in the church with a dress and with a husband that's going to be faithful to you. That's not going to happen. It is a wonderful thing. When I got married, I never got married before. This was my first time. But I had many girlfriends that I moved in with. They moved me in. They kicked me out. Moved me in again. Oh, I moved myself in, you know. But the most wonderful experience of my life was when I got married. And I'm going to bless them. And guess what? All because I say, you know what? If my wife submits to this pastor, I'm going to submit to him. Because if she submitted to him, and look how she ended up, I submit to him, I'm going to be even better. And to this day, I am better. I am better. And let me tell you something. I had a very hard time the past few days because my wife was like, you don't need to go up there dirty. I was like, what are you talking about? We could wash, take a shower. For 3 or 4 days now, my wife said, no. Because pastor says, don't come up here dirty. Don't come over here unclean. Why? Because it will not be right for you. It is not the right way to be in the Lord's house. You know, I am very comfortable. I am very comfortable because I know I'm clean. I am consciously, physically, mentally comfortable because I know I'm clean. And this is what we all need to do. We need to know completely that we are clean when we come into this house. When you begin to process those ideas, because when I'm like very close to Pastor, most of the time closer than Mother Manny, right? I know he's clean. It's in his presence, it's in his aura. And that's one of the reasons why it's a reflection of him that transmit to whoever is clean. And I know there's some folks in here that are not clean. You know, we had one of our sisters, right? That she will come in here unclean. And it showed all the time. All the time. And the demonic spirit that possessed her, I'm pretty sure she didn't understand. She didn't understand. Because when it came the time for her to say what she needed to say, all she said was, he is interesting. He is interesting. And this is a person who's in the ministry for more than 20 years. This is a person who's actually one of the most devoted person in this ministry. And the only word that could have come up out of her mouth was, he is interesting. You see, that's a demonic spirit. Clearly, she never got rid of, when she got baptized, if she did get baptized, I wasn't here in the time that she came into this ministry. I'm very young. If she got baptized, she never got rid of those demons that she needed to get rid of. Because she had some. She had a whole bunch of them. Like I had a whole bunch of them. Like some of you guys have a bunch of them. But when you get baptized, you need to say to yourself, I left those behind. And when pastor opens his mouth and rebukes you, it's to get those spirits in control. Interesting. A book is interesting. A movie might be interesting. A man is not interesting. His stick is not an interesting thing. Her daughter, which is my wife, say to me, no, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. She could have done the same. He said, you know what? Let's make an interesting way of doing things. Let's go to pastor. Pastor will get us in the right position to get married and eventually, no. But what she did was follow those demons. Follow those past demons. I tell you, sexual demons are the worst. That's why parents don't allow children to start dating at a certain age. because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. But when you're a grown-up and you allow those demons of being in this ministry for so long, I never got to understand that. I never did. Because in a very short time, I started controlling mine. And let me tell you. But I started controlling it because there was no way that I'm receiving the word the way I was receiving it and continue to brutalize myself and try to brutalize my wife. I'm not doing that. But interesting. Oof. And then I remember, because you see, people are hard-headed. That stubbornness is a real bad spirit. When you are stubborn, rebuke yourself from that spirit. Because stubbornness is just, it's disgusting. Pastor rebuked this person when I first came in here, the year that I was here, rebuked this person and say that whoever sleeps with this person is sleeping with diseases. And I'm pretty sure that I was new. I didn't know who he was talking about, but I understood what he said. I understood what he said because this person spreads himself around very well. So this person has disease. That's my understanding because of what he did flying around. Thank God I never got a disease. Thank God. Because God has his way of doing things. Maybe he had me already saved for this moment to make sure that I marry the right person, But in hearing that, and then you coming out years later and allow that demon to possess you, it's just something that we all need to watch and pray and continue to pray and pray because that is the worst demon that you could possess. We have a lot of demons. Some of us control it, some of us don't. But when you come in here, don't come in here with a hypocrite face thinking that you're getting away with it because you're not. You're not. You're not. You might thinking you're getting away with it in your own mind, but in the eyes of God, in the eyes of the man that has the word of God, you're not getting away with it. You're not. If you have someone who don't come into this church, but you're still laying with, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. I see the beauty in a man following his woman to the church because the woman decided that she wanted to submit to the word of God, to the teaching of the man of God. And then the man comes and he follows. And he says, you know what? This is not a bad place. This is a good place. I'm going to learn from this, And accept what has been told to you when it's been given to you. Because you know what? You say, oh, man, I'm very privileged to be here. But what you don't realize is that if you don't watch yourself and you don't pray enough, you're going to be out of here. You're going to be out of here. Because you're not going to be able to deal with it every Saturday. Let me tell you, when I came here on a Saturday and my wife said, you got to be here every Saturday. I was like, what, every Saturday? Like I'm never going to have a Saturday to myself? He said, no. And there was time where I said, wow, no, come on, let's take a vacation. Can we just call in? Can we call in? But you know what? When I come, that spirit is gone. I feel so good. I mean, there's been time where I have came through that door like, man, I ain't saying nothing. I'm not talking to nobody. I'm not smiling. I'm just here. I'm just here. And all of a sudden I step through that door, I'm smiling, I'm saying hi to people, and and everything is so good. And when I leave out of here, it's even better, But that's the demon that you have to fight, because that's the hypocrite that comes in and leaves. Leave that hypocrite at the door. Leave that spirit at the door. Come in and just receive the word and leave, knowing that you're clean. And no matter what happens when you're out there and then you get to your home and then there's people bugging you and stuff like that, you know what? Kneel down and pray. That's it. Don't follow it. Don't continue doing the things. I have people calling me, like my son. Pastor says, stay away. It's no good. All they want is things from you, but they're not willing to follow your way, to do the things that you want them to do, to come into this ministry, to teach, to give. And I have that one son that he always calls. He even knows when I get paid. I don't know, he knows. I think he got it written down somewhere because he knows exactly when I get paid. Sometimes I don't know. My wife, I get direct deposit, so my wife is the one that knows. I don't even know. I don't care, to be honest with you, because I have a credit card, so, yeah, Salem, I got a credit card, so I pay everything with a credit card, So I don't need any money. I got a credit card. My wife pays the bills, like she does for Pastor Manny. She does it for me, too. But this kid, he's a grown man now, he's 23 years old, for some reason keeps calling me and thinking that I have to support him. I have to take care of him. Pastor said, do not give money to the dogs. He said, don't give money to the dogs. And, I grew up in a way that, family is very together, So I never really, my grandparents gave to us, to all of us and stuff. So he taught how to give. My grandparents were not religious people. We never went to church. Never, never. I never heard anybody in my family going to church. So I first I was like, wow, but that's my son. My father never took care of me. So I always said to myself, when I have kids, I'm going to take care of them. That's my son. One day, I was new in the ministry. One day he calls, and he said, "Dad, he always got excuses. This guy has excuses all the time. He has good story all the time. I need it. Can you please send me a couple of dollars?" And to be honest with you, I did it. I went to Western Union. I put in a couple of dollars for him. He received it, called me back, saying, you don't say thank you. That's another thing. You don't say thank you. When people are taking advantage of you, they really don't appreciate it. They don't. They're not going to show you no gratitude. They're not. They're just going, oh yeah, that's right. Because you're supposed to. This is what he thinks. And then that day, I remember I came in, and Pastor was badgering on that spirit, rebuking people from doing things like that. And I said to myself, wow, how did he know? Was he watching me going to Western Union? Did somebody see me when I went into the Western Union? I think I even asked my wife, I said, did you tell him something? Because when you do something wrong, you're going to hear it from here. You're going to hear it from here. And I was just a beginner. So I can imagine some of you guys, what you guys be hearing. Because you guys, some of you guys are still stubborn. Very stubborn. And I called my son and I told my son, listen, man, I gotta stop sending you money, brother. You get a job. And if the one job don't do it, get another one. Because I had 2 or 3 jobs. You need to get a job. Because I can't do that no more, I'm not gonna give you money because Pastor said it very clearly. And then I found out that he did. He actually did the wrong thing with it. You know what he did? $100 that I could have bought about good 4 or 5 uniforms for these guys, right? Those little gentlemen here. $100 that I could have bought equipment to one of these children that I know that they're going to appreciate it because they enjoy what they're doing. I ended up sending it to him, and he turned around. Actually, his mother turned around. I don't speak to this lady. This lady don't like talking to me. And she ended up calling me and said, did you send your son some money? Because I just had an argument with him because he eats everything out of my fridge, you know. And did you send him some money? Because he wouldn't even give me $25. I know that he got money, but I tell him, yo, give me at least $25 so I could put some food in the refrigerator so you could eat it later when you smoke your nonsense. So my son, as a demonic spirit that he is, right, calls me, asks me for $100, and he bought $100 worth of weed. Because being that he don't have a job, but he wants to smoke for the whole month. A whole month. He didn't buy $50 worth, give his mother $25, and kept $25 for himself, right? No, he bought $100 worth of weed. But who is at fault? Me. Because I heard pastor before that say, don't do it. Don't do it. And I did it. But when I did it, I felt so bad. When I came into this door, I felt so bad that I was like, wow, listen, dude, don't call me. If you don't call me ever, I'm not going to miss you. I'm not going to miss you. And that's my son, right? No, he ain't my son. He ain't my son. He ain't my son. You know who are my sons? These guys right here. When I tell them something, they do it. And believe me, I'm hard on them. You know? That kid that wants to call every time I get paid, that's not my son. That's not my son. That's a demon. You know? So you have to understand. A bird lays eggs, right? Flies, those eggs hatch. The bird goes, flies, comes back, gives them food, goes. All those little birds are seeing how the mother comes in, gives them food, and then flies away, right? At a certain point, those birds already know that they could fly away. You know what happens when they fly away? They don't ever come back. They don't ever come back. You don't never see, the mother never sees them again. You know why? Because those birds don't have bad spirits. They don't have demonic spirits. They don't need to continue bugging their parents. They don't need their parents no more. So that's what we need to know. We need to know that at some point, you got to let them go. You don't need them no more. That's it. Because if you did the right thing and you taught them the right way, they're not going to need you. They're not going to need you. And not only that, they're going to respect you. Because if you're in this house and you listen to the word and the teaching of James David Manny, the best pastor there is, to me it is. They're going to respect that. And they might call you and say, yo, Dad, how's Pastor Manny doing? How you doing in the church? When I go on vacation to visit you, tell Pastor Manny that I'm going to go and see him and spend some time with him. That's the right way. You understand? But if your sons or your daughters don't actually do that, then why are you still coming in here, putting on the hypocrite face, while you're still dealing with your nonsense out there in your home? When you're hiding, and you're thinking you're hiding, you're not hiding, because God sees everything. And for some reason, Pastor Manny receives it too. He gets the message as well. I think he texts him. I saw a program on TV where God texts you. I was like, wow. I don't watch the show, don't get me wrong, but I seen the preview. And I'm like, I think Pastor Manny gets texts as well. you know? Because I'm telling you, there's been a few times where I come in here and I get it. And I'm like, wow. You know, that's why I don't leave. Actually, you know, I was coming here like maybe 2 days a week. Now I'm here 7 days a week. I'm here 7 days a week. Sometimes I got to come here on Sundays. I'm already here on Saturday all day. I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 7 days a week. But look how wonderful I'm doing. Thank you. I would not have been able to say that with a straight face if it is not true. I will never, never want to leave this home. Pastor says the Jewish had it. Then one day, God was no longer there. You know? God is always here. God grabbed a sinner like me and brought me to his home. And I am a better person, a better human being, and a better Christian. So, if you tell me out there, Jose, you believe that God is in there? Man, I'm going to tell you, look at me. Look at me. I didn't have a dime to my name. I couldn't afford not even a bicycle. I owe everybody, every loan shark out there money. I don't owe nobody anything. I have a car. I got money in the bank. And I'm about to buy a house. So I say, look at me. If you believe in the people in the media, people, if you're in Harlem and you pass by here, stop being a hypocrite. Stop being ignorant and just come in. Because if Pastor Manny took a Hispanic individual and made him a person, some people say, well, I'm already somebody. Yeah, you think so. You ain't nobody if you're not living the right way. He grabbed a person who was nobody and made him somebody. That's me. That's me. So come in, receive the word, live the word, and I guarantee you, you're going to be successful. I guarantee you, you're going to see the fruit of his labor. All you have to do is come in and learn. Don't bring your nonsense from out there. Just come as humble as you can and just learn. That's what I did. I didn't mind that I was Hispanic. I didn't mind that I had long hair. Because I saw that you guys didn't mind. I saw that he didn't mind. Because what he wants is to clean you up. Clean you up. And some of you guys might say, well, I'm not dirty. I'm good. I don't drink. I don't smoke. That was you, bro. Well, guess what? There is something in you that is dirty. There's always something in every one of us that is dirty. Don't say that you're not. There's something in you that is filthy. And only the right person with the right word of God, which is Pastor Manny, could get that out of you. Stop being a hypocrite. Stop thinking that you could control those demons. Because when you go out there, you're on your own. You know, Pastor said, pray in the closet. Right? There's a professor in City College. He said, he talked about praying in the closet. He needs to come out the closet. That's his interpretation of praying in the closet. I said, no, and this is a professor, a very smart person. I actually respected him until he started making what I call, I don't like to use the word stupid, but he started using stupid comments. And eventually, I don't speak to him anymore. I don't respect him as a professor. I'll clean his place because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'll clean his place. If he wants vacuum, I vacuum his place. But when he said that, right, I said, you know what? The sins are not in the closet. They're in the bedroom. But being that you're so dirty, you're thinking about the closet. But your sins are in the bedroom. And and he watches, and I'm hoping he's watching right now. He watches Pastor Manny. He lives not too far from here. He is the most sleaziest professor probably in City College, because he has told me things about some female students that I'm like, you need to repent. You need Jesus. He tells me like it's a joke, because he figures he's talking to a man, like a closet, like a locker room talk. I told him, I said, listen, man, I respect you, but if you continue talking this way, I don't want to come nowhere near you, because I think you're a perv. You're sick. You need help. What he said to me was, "Oh, I think you hanging out in that church too much." Now this is a black person. This is a Hamite. I'm a Hispanic. He's probably wondering what am I doing here. That's pretty much what he tells people. When he says to certain people, "Hey, this guy goes to a church right there in Harlem, the one with the sign." And some people follow. I have fought almost every demon in my job because of this church, but I will continue, and then I will not regret to continue fighting those demons, because I know I'm right, they're wrong. You understand? I know they are wrong. Elder, can you please pass this board that I have right there? When you right, they cannot make you wrong. Thank you, sir. I fight for my rights in my job. I fight for the rights of others in my job. I fight homosexuality. In my floor that I clean, there is no homosexual magazines. The floor that I'm in charge, there is no magazines around it. Somebody's watching right now, they're going to say, "Oh, so he's the one that's taking them and throwing them away." They might end up firing me, But when you right, they wrong, Pastor Manny prayed. I told Pastor I'm going for a position, supervisor position. Can you please pray with me? Can you pray for me? I would like to have this position to obtain more money, so we could do better things, and the fact that he teaches for you to be a leader in your job. Let me tell you something. I'm one of the hardest one on that. I was like, man, because at first I didn't want to do nothing. I thought I was just going to pass through City College, retire, and go home, But Pastor kept saying, no, you have to be a leader in your job. You have to, you have to be the boss and have people under you and stuff like that. And I understood, and I know I could do that. I didn't want to at first. I didn't care. But then he put that care in me. I want to do those things now. I want to be the boss, Especially now that I'm clean, because I was very dirty. They wouldn't consider me as a supervisor in the past, even if my life depended on it, Which they're probably still judging me the same way. But I don't care, because I know who I am now. So I went for the position, Pastor prayed, and I have to tell you, I have to be completely honest with you. I almost thought that his prayers didn't come through. I said, wow, I went to one interview, they told me I wasn't ready. I went to a second interview, they told me they were going to choose women. I went to a third interview, and they put an individual in the interview section, and the interviewer who lives in this neighborhood, knows the church, doesn't believe in Pastor Manny, but thinks that Pastor Manny is crazy. So I told him, I said, listen, the next time you speak about like that about my pastor, I swear to God, I'm going to choke your head, man. I'm going to take your head off your neck. And I was buddy with this guy. And when he found out that I come to this church, woo, forget it. He hates what Pastor Manny writes. He hates what Pastor Manny says he hates what Pastor Manny stands for. But what he don't realize is that it's the demon in him. It's the demon in him that dominates his beliefs. But don't tell him, because he will never believe that. He thinks he's very successful. He thinks he got the world in his hands. He lives in the flesh. But he was dealing with an individual that's no longer that. I'm in the flesh, but I try to live by his examples, by what he says, by what he teaches, So he asked a few questions, knowing that he was trying to test me into saying what I didn't really want to say. I'm going to tell the truth, So I told him the truth. I told him where I stand. I told him, who I am. I actually talked about the church, about the things that the church has done for me. The church has changed my life. I'm not going to deny that. For me to deny that is to say, you know what, I'm no longer that person. I'm still that person. No, I'm not that person. And I love Pastor Manny. I love what he does. I love what he says. I love everything. Why? Because he has shown me that I could change my life around. He has put things in my life that are that no one else has done it, not even myself, and I'm 50 years old. I pray that I will live another 50 years, because I will be more successful than I am now in another 50 years. That he put in me. That came from here, from the Word. So I didn't get the position. At some point I said, man, prayer didn't work. It did work. You know what it did? It made me such a leader that even those who are supervisors respect me. Okay? My boss, who is the one that don't want to give me the position, tell me, Jose, I want you to organize a meeting with the staff, because I want to hear their concerns, what the problems are and stuff like that. This is a person who don't want to give me the job as a supervisor, but is asking me to organize a meeting where he could come in and he could hear our concern and our situations in our job. But he have hired, the ones that he hired as supervisors, a bunch of thugs. A bunch of thugs, criminals, And the worst workers, when they were regular workers, they were the worst. All I had was what? A mouth. I got a mouth. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because if you try to violate my rights, I'm going to tell you in your face. I don't need to beat around the bush. I'm going to tell you straight up. I organized the meeting, but what he didn't know was that he is the first one that we having problem with. So he thought, this is what he thought. He said, Jose, the position for supervisor is coming back, I told him, listen, I don't need that. God gave me another mission. God already blessed me. I'm a blessed man. I have a child. I have a wife. I got a car. God is blessing me. That position, if 3 times I didn't get it, it's because God don't want me in that position. What he wanted me was in this position, in the position that the workers respect me. They come to me and they tell me what the problems are, what can I do for them. They ask me for guidance. I got that from here. That's right, Pastor Manny. I realize my blessings now is to fight for these people. Because guess what? This individual hired all his thug friends when he got the position he got. Instead of hiring the decent people, and I said this before, I said that to one of my workers, he could have hired a few folks that are decent, that we could have some picnics in the park and stuff like that. We'll invite him and things, and we'll have a decent. He has thugs that he don't even trust. But it's those thugs that are so bad that he knows that they're never going to take his position, because they're idiots. He realized that I'm not an idiot. He realized that what Pastor Manny has done with me is not being idiotic. He has built a man I am a real man on his way to be a righteous man, fighting to be a righteous man. So when I say, oh yeah, man, oh thanks, yeah, I appreciate that, because we needed that. Ever since you got the position you got, you have supervisors, and you had your supervisors meeting and stuff and you have never had a meeting with us. You've been in that position now for about 2 years, and you never had a meeting with us. So I appreciate that you decided to have a meeting with us. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm going to get the guys, and yes, I'm gonna. There was a piece of paper there. I'm gonna make sure that the guys, get the stuff together, and we'll show you our concerns. What I did was I set him up. I set him up to let him know that you're not dealing with idiots in here when you decided to hire your thugs to push us around. They do a lot of things that they're not supposed to. And they know they're not supposed to. They make us do things that they themselves didn't do when they were regular workers. But this is what he wants. He wants puppets. He wants to be the puppeteer. He knew that with me, he ain't gonna pup me around. You're gonna tell me, and I'm gonna tell you if you're right or wrong. I'm gonna in any meeting, I'm gonna tell you what's right and what's wrong, because that's what a boss should do, the right thing, not manipulate or intimidate. There's a lot of intimidation in this job, and there's no need for that, because we grown men. This is where the problem is, where people walk into a job and they start shooting everybody, because you're not supposed to intimidate your worker. You're supposed to respect your worker. When I organized the meeting, I made my own flyers, I passed it around. He was very impressed. He didn't know that I did this. So when I put this in place, he was shocked. He was shocked. He congratulated me. The meeting went very well. He came out of his place a few times. I put him back in his place, because I said, you're the boss. You're not supposed to curse. Don't curse. You might speak like that in the street, but don't do that here. Don't do it in my presence, because I spoke, and I never mentioned a curse. I was very strong in my presentation, because I needed to be strong. I needed him to understand, and I didn't do it with a grudge at the fact that you didn't make me a supervisor. I did it with the knowledge that, guess what? I want things to be better. That's the reason why I wanted to be a supervisor. I wanted to, so I could make things better. You thought I was a threat, but that's fine, because I'm always going to be a threat, because that's what you believe. He was shocked. He was like, Jose, man, you have a lot of common sense, Yeah, I told him, yeah, ain't that something? I have so much common sense, but yeah, you don't want me as a supervisor. But that's okay. That's okay. Pastor Manny gave me a school, and he said, Jose, I want you to teach these boys how to be righteous men. That's my goal. Righteous men for ATLAH, to be men in the community, to be leaders in the community, to be leaders in their home, to be leaders in their church, in their ministry. Some of them are Muslims, some of them are Christian, some of them don't even go to church. But guess what? We're working on that. That's right, they're here today. Listen, in this ministry, it could be a slow process, or it could be a fast one. But when he gives you the command, take it with an open heart, with an open mind, okay? And know that he's doing it for the best of your ability. Pastor Manny does things because he knows that you are capable of doing it. And if you're not, believe me, pray, because you will find your way. Pray. and you will find your way. You know, I have so much to thank all of y'all. I appreciate everything that you guys do in this ministry. That's the reason why I speak very strongly on you guys straighten out your life. Don't allow family members, don't allow friends that are not really your friends to confuse you. And you might say, oh, well, I'm not confused. I'm a grown person. I cannot be confused. Well, guess what? That's what I used to think when I was, 22, 27, 37, 40, until I came here, at 45? Yeah, 45. I was confused still. I was lost. So don't think that, oh, I'm a grown, I'm this, I'm that. No, I'm not confused. Maybe you were because you were. No. A lot of us are very confused because we out there more than we in here. So don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn. Allow yourself to tell yourself the truth. Sometimes we deny that. We say to ourselves, this is not right. But yeah, we're doing it. Don't come in here knowing that you are not right. Whatever it is, and it could be anything. It could be small, it could be big. Pastor has patience. But do you have those patience? Are you going to do what the other person did? Find it interesting? Are you going to continue to disrespect your spouse? Are you going to continue to disrespect yourself by allowing someone who doesn't come into this ministry to lay in your bed? Or are you going to be obedient to Pastor Manny's words, his teaching, his guidance, his love, and respect yourself and come here clean? It is very simple. When a woman wants something, right, because it tickles, and she figures that I'm ready, I'm good, I want it now, to get herself destroyed by a man who only he cares is for the moment. That moment. After that moment, let me tell you, that attraction is gone. It's gone. Man, when they want it, they see everything. Woof, 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 woof. Hey, baby, you got it. Once they get it, they roll over, get up, and leave. Until they want it again is when they call you. Is when they come by. That's not interesting. That's denial. You are worth more than that. You are worth more than that. I congratulate brothers that said, you know what? I'm going to be with my wife. I'm going to stay with my wife. I'm going to repent for those sins that I had committed, and I'm going to be faithful to my wife. I'm going to respect my wife. I'm not going to make my wife do those things that I used to do with all the women's and stuff like that didn't lead me to anything better. Because if that was the case, you'll still be with that wife, with that ex-girlfriend. Respect yourself. And I'm saying it to the brothers and the sisters. Respect yourself. Respect your wife. Respect your home. And there is no need for you to go out there when something that is in front of your face. Because if this woman is submitted to Pastor Manny, that's all you got to look for. You already have it here. You already have it here. There is no need for men in here to be by themselves when there's women here by themselves. You already halfway righteous. The woman is already submitting to the pastor. So what is it that you don't recognize? You know, I remember telling Salem about the 4 girls that I thought that he should marry, right? I actually pointed out one and then the other and then the other. And I'm no match. I'm not a matching guy, man. I'm glad he didn't listen to me. I'm awful at that. But I'm glad and very proud of the fact that he didn't have to go out there. He chose one from here. That, because he understands. He understood. Why would I want to go out there when I have a woman already that's submitted to what I'm submitted to? Does it make sense? That means every time that Pastor Manny speaks, all you hear is like blah, 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 blah. You don't really hear anything else. This man, our captain, heard him, understood him, and said, you know what? This is where it's at. And now, he knows exactly what he has in his home. He knows what he has in his home. And I pray that he ain't that damaged like I was. That he's able to respect his wife. That he's able to love his wife the right way. Because that's what we need to do. We need to respect and love our wife. Our wife don't need to do anything that's incredibly stupid because you feel that this is how you need to be satisfied. Nope. You are satisfied when you are loved and you respected. I know it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. It's a very uncomfortable subject. But guess what? It is a demonic spirit that possesses us when we think that it is ridiculous to speak about these subjects. That demonic comes in a lot quicker and easier. I prayed that you understand what I said, that you understood what I meant, and that you continue to live the way you're supposed to. Because, guys, living for God is the right way. Living for Jesus' teaching, they say, Pastor always says there's the New Testament. They want to get rid of the Old Testament. It's the New Testament. But Jesus said it. I didn't came to change the law. I came to fulfill it. And Pastor Manny came to make sure that we keep hearing it. That's all. He ain't changing it. Jesus already fulfilled it. Pastor Manny is making sure that we continue to hear it. Because the minute you close your ears, know that failure comes in. Like those people that you no longer see here. They decided not to hear it. That's all Pastor Manny wants. He wants you to continue to hear it. Guys, thank you very much for your presence. And I know this is subjects that you guys probably say, what is he talking about? But I thank you, and I pray that my message is understood. I didn't do it to offend anybody, but if the shoe fits, wear it. Peace.